I keep coming back to one question. What drives us to travel the world? Discovery is built into our genetic code. Humanity thrives off of new knowledge, the extension of arms and minds. Throughout the centuries, our ancestors discovered new places, people, and technology. And through the inherent bloodline of desire, we have been encouraged to do the same. But what drove them to discovery? What drives us to follow in their footsteps?
My name is Kerry Sheehan. People travel for the experiences, to meet people from around the world, to learn about new cultures, learn about history, eat really good food. That's why people travel. Interestingly enough, I don't do a lot of landscape photography. I feel like there's so many amazing photographers out there that I can buy a postcard and they probably did a better job taking that picture than I did. When I do carry a camera with me, obviously, but so it's more of my friends and family that I capture in the moment in the pictures. Well, I was going to say I don't have a favorite place, but Ireland is unbelievable, awesome. The people make Ireland, I think. When I was 10, I took my first plane trip, and it was to Disney World. And at that point, I just had such a great time getting out of Lowell, Massachusetts. And even though it was just Florida, it was a really cool experience. And after that, in high school, I went to Europe for a month, traveled around Europe. Then when I started working, I traveled for work, Japan and Hawaii and London. And it's a great thing. I love meeting new people, hearing about their culture, stories. Again, the Irish were probably some of the most welcoming people. I've been a lot of places. I want to go to Portugal. I'm going to Sicily in July. That's our big trip this year, and who knows where life will take us next year.
My name is Jenny Sweeney. I was born and raised in Drake, Massachusetts. I am a registered sleep technologist and I like to travel. When I went off to college, I went to school down in Florida, and so that was like the beginning of my travels and realizing that there's more than just New England, and that's when I really started to travel.
Hi, I'm Shaun. I'm the maker of Declan. I'm from Lowell, Massachusetts. Also a registered polysomnographic technologist, and I also manage a sleep lab, and I also love to travel. Jenny and I are basically the same person. I wanted to travel first when my wife told me that I had to start traveling.
We travel for a variety of reasons. Just to escape daily life, I would say, is the biggest thing. We love to see new places. We're really big into history, so we love to learn about the history of different places, and we love to eat food, so usually food is like the number one thing when we travel. We would like to discover Europe more. We have a few trips planned for this year. Our biggest trip is a 2-week trip where we're spending 3 days in London, 2 days in Paris, and 10 days in Italy.
I like to just walk around aimlessly and find things that when I see it, I have to take a picture of it. Because I'm just like, wow, that's super cool. I just like to walk around. Honestly, I think my favorite part about going to new places is being on foot with a backpack and a camera, well, my phone, because I'm a millennial, and just absorbing everything around me. I love that.
And
So, yeah.
finding a good cup of coffee and a croissant.
Yeah. It's just the whole package. It's hard to describe. It's like one of those things. Like when you travel, the whole thing is discovery if you let it be.
We live in the modern day, the age of new scientific discoveries. We become smarter, and so is our technology. Before, the beaches of the Caribbean, or the mountains of Banff, or the Eiffel Tower of Paris, all places that before, experiences were limited to only its inhabitants, but are now accessible to everyday people. Take a plane, train, or cab. Modern transportation allows us to go anywhere.
Dale Horton, I'm a Delta Airlines captain on the Boeing 767. 22 years at Delta and 8 years in the military. I have over 15,000 flight hours. At 6 years old, I knew that that was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. As a child, I was born in Guam, so I was born overseas, and shortly after we came back from Guam, we went to Germany, and we were in Germany for 7 years before I came back to the United States. Rome is good. That's my all-time favorite for sure. Definitely like the European destinations, Munich, Amsterdam, Lisbon is good, and in South America, maybe Sao Paulo. It's definitely changed a lot in the past days. Everyone was dressed up. They would wear dresses, ties. Traveling was something very exclusive for an elite group of people. And now we are really heavy in the transportation industry. We're moving a lot of people, and there's no real stigma as to who our passengers are. We have everybody, from people going to see their grandmother to business travelers and movie stars, Hollywood stars. I've transported the Bachelorette from ABC to her interviews with Good Morning America in the morning. So I've had many people on board, but it's definitely changed from the elite status that it used to be in the old days.
Our ancestors spent so much of their time traveling the world, building great new structures and bringing back stories of newly discovered worlds. Now, when we travel, we're able to connect to those who found it first. While wearing the lenses of hindsight, seeing what past people's lives were like is humbling. It shows where we came from and how far we've progressed.
We think of New England as being really old because we have, buildings from the 1600s. I mean, when you talk Ireland, you're going back thousands and thousands of years. You see castles that are who knows how old. It's just a whole different level of history, and that's, besides food, we're really big into history and architecture, so.
In Ireland, while we would only stay in one specific town for a day or two, we got to really see Ireland over an extended period of time, which isn't something that we normally do when we go international. So that was interesting, I thought, because we get to really experience the culture a lot more. Different regions of the country just were it was like totally different worlds, depending where you were. We'd be in one area and it would just be rolling hills and castles and all kinds of stuff, and then the next town would be this little tiny fisherman's village that was gorgeous with all these little brightly painted cottages and buildings. It was pretty cool. I liked it.
Yeah.
Now let's take a short trip back to before we had smartphones and smart watches and smart fridges and smart thermostats. You get the point.
Especially for a lot of younger people, or anyone, I guess, especially if you're really heavily into social media and you're one of those people that posts constantly when you're on vacation and you get your validation through that and you're not getting the amount of likes that you want on something, that could probably screw up your vacation, and it shouldn't have in the first place. The best part about traveling is airplane mode. Everything goes off. I think that is probably the best de-stressor that anyone can have in life. If you're gonna travel, turn everything off and enjoy it. We would go to a town and we would just park and just walk around. We didn't have GPS or anything when we were in the town. We were just walking around when we were in Ireland. It was awesome.
Yeah.
We just found really interesting things, and we saw something that we were like, oh, let's try that. And we did, and it was great.
When I went to Italy, spent some time in Rome, back in the 90s, I actually had an old-fashioned street map. And it's like a maze in there. But we got through, but we got lost. And I suspect now if I had that technology then, I probably wouldn't have been as lost. But during the day when I got lost in Rome, it was like you stumble on these things you might never have seen or found. So it's like, I guess, a give and take. I would rather ask people for directions than look at a Google map.
As we rush through our busy lives, we sometimes forget to look back at what's around us. In this fast-paced world, this instant society, we tend to neglect things that aren't as such. Travel allows us to stop and experience the little things for once. We become less cynical. It's important to recall feelings of the moment, those past, present, and all. And just remember, the world won't slow down for you. So go out there and discover.
Patient. There are certain things that are beyond the control of the airline or the crew that will happen. Don't be nervous. If you are nervous, don't take drugs or alcohol and use those as a means to calm you down. Medications can affect you differently while you're traveling, so it's not a good way to ease your anxieties.
Assimilate yourself with the culture as much as possible. Don't stand out as an obnoxious know-it-all person, and embed yourself in the culture and enjoy it.
Be open-minded. I will say that was, for me, when I first started traveling, I was still very close-minded. Just in general, be open-minded. Try things. If you don't like it, well, you know you didn't like it after you tried it, but try everything.